Hey, Sasha, I do Buckaroos. How the heck are you? I'm just a little behind. Bear with me as I get something fixed real fast. So, how the heck are you this evening? I took a little hiatus. Like yesterday was the first time I'd had a drink in about a week and a half. It wasn't necessarily I was trying to prove anything. I started on a new medication, but also with everything going on in society today, that was, it's time to take a beat, relax, try to figure it out without any, with, without anything causing any haze. Just kind of figure out what was going on. I was hearing so many things and seeing so many things, and uh, I had some weird conversations with folks I thought were friends, or mostly people that I work with or work around. Not necessarily work with, but work around. And it was tough to really figure out what was going on, to be honest with you. People say certain things and then you're not able to finish that conversation and you're kind of left wondering, well, what did they mean by that? And there seems to be a lot of well, let's say racism, but that seems too easy. I mean, there's a lot of racism going on, but it's a lot of just bigotry, people being afraid of one thing or another that just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. There we go. Get that fixed real fast. And so I want to talk about, well, not necessarily the state of music today, but I think a lot of folks just misunderstand, or they're so narcissistic, they still think everything is about them. Now, as an older person, I realize there's most of the new music I don't like. But here's the thing, I'm not supposed to like it. They're not making new music for me. People want to say, well, music today sucks. Well, yeah, it does to you, does to me, but they're not making music for us. We're old people. We don't count anymore. The music we love, they were making for us back then, but we're no longer that demographic. And it seems hard for a lot of folks to understand that. That it's not about us anymore. It's that singular narcissism that people think is still about me. I don't like what's happening today. Well, for me, I'm 60 years old. No, it shouldn't be about me. And so there's an artist that's getting a lot of accolades and flack at the same time. Chapel Roan, who's actually from not far from where I'm at. Do I like her music? No, but again, it's not for me. But people are talking about her looks more than her music, talking about this is weird, that's scary, this, that, or the other. And they seem to be forgetting what we listened to in our time. We listened to folks like The Crazy World of Arthur Brown, which led to Alice Cooper, which led to Kiss. And then you had the pop artists that went a little crazy at the time with outlandish looks. Elton John, Cher. And then you went into the 80s with a Culture Club and Boy George. And in the 90s with folks like Marilyn Manson and Guar. And the folks that listen to these acts are now saying, well, she looks weird. Really? Listen, I'm an old guy and I get that her look and her music isn't for me. But I'm also not a hypocrite and understand the folks that I listened to and looked up to at that time. I mean, come on, folks. It's not about you anymore. So I just realized I had one of these left, and it's probably way past its prime. In all honesty, because I've had this since late September. So yeah, I can get beers like this. I should have went through quicker. I kind of forgot this one was still here, so I'm acknowledging that it's probably past its prime, but I'm going to drink it anyway. It's a snake juice from Homestead Beer Company. It's 6.5%. I did really like that brewery. In fact, the one I went to in Canal Winchester was just kind of a satellite post for them. It's not their home. But I tried to buy a glass from them. I never had such a hard time buying a glass. I tried to buy a glass. They had a whole bunch of logo glasses, and I wanted to buy one. So we don't sell them. Can I? I'm from out of town. I collect glasses. Can I just? What if one just goes missing, and I leave some money on the counter? I mean, I didn't want to steal it, but I wanted the glass. But man, they were dead set that we do not sell the glasses. Okay, because usually I can talk somebody into selling me a glass. But no, they were having none of it. They were having none of it there at Homestead. But anyway, I did like the beer there. I had a great visit there. I talked to a lot of the bartender, other than the fact that she wouldn't sell me a glass, was very nice and informative. She was very friendly. But she was like, I can't. I can't sell a glass. But yeah, I talked to some folks while I was there too. It was a great place. I did enjoy it. I do recommend them. Other than they wouldn't sell me a glass, man. They would not sell me a glass for nothing, man. Anyways, so I thought I'd finish this off here with you, but I also thought I'd finish off another product. Uh, I was near the end of it. I probably could have saved an ounce, but just didn't seem, just pour it all in. So I'll make it a good pour. Anyway, this is from Endeavor Brewing and Spirits. This is their malt whiskey. It's at 90 proof, and I really love this category. The American single malt category is really breaking out. Actually, it was new a few years back, and I've started seeing more and more. Um, and you've always got those. Oh, Tom. Because everybody expects single malt to be Scotch, right? But in my opinion, Irish single malt is better, or I prefer it. Let me say that. Uh, but yeah, single malt has its place, but I do like the American category uh, just because it can go a lot of different directions. In the case of this particular whiskey, our single malt whiskey is made using a combination of Scottish whiskey malt imported from Speyside and a specialty malt from Belgium. So, because of that, this particular single malt really resembles a single malt Scotch. And I say that because I'm going to show you something here in a little bit. Same category, vastly different whiskey. Even the notes. I mean, you do feel that. Yeah, you do feel that little bit of peat smoke on the nose. Oh, it's nice. Oh, that nice bit of peat smoke, a little bit of sweetness going on, almost slightly resembling, very slightly, just slightly resembling an Irish peated single malt because it's a little sweeter than typical Scotch, but then it reels itself back in. You get that little bit of spice and oak in the finish. Oh, that's gorgeous. So circling back to music for a bit, I've always been a music guy. I wanted to be a musician at one point, but I didn't have the talent. But I'm one of those guys that really soaks in the music. I feel it deep in my bones. So I'm very passionate about certain artists and certain types of music. And again, I'll admit that what's going on today doesn't really fit me, but it's not supposed to because I'm an old guy, right? Music isn't made for me anymore. And I think that's the problem is that folks my age, even some just a tad younger, still think it's about them. right? You're not supposed to like these new artists, right? You're not supposed to like them, but it doesn't mean you have to hate on them either. And I think that's the problem where we're at is everybody wants to be hypercritical of everything that they don't think fits them exactly. I don't have to like any new artist. I don't have to have anything to do with them. I don't have to buy their albums. But I don't have to hate on them either. And that for me, that's what the issue is when I see folks with these superficial, you know, comments. This blind hatred for no other reason than they don't like how somebody looks or their perceived lifestyle or whatever it might be. It has nothing to do with you. So why are you hating on it? Just relax. Let them be. Let them go to their audience. They have a specific audience. They know that. So let it be. It has nothing to do with you. You don't have to hate on the way somebody looks just because it's not what you like. And again, I point out some of the artists we used to listen to. Again, those of us of a certain age, and I may be going back farther than some of you, but again, you had the crazy world of Arthur Brown, a similar face paint to what became Alice Cooper. And his face paint evolved over the years. But then you had more pop artists that had very different looks. I mean, Elton John used various costumes over the years. Cher, I mentioned earlier, and then in the '80s you had Boy George and various others. A flock of seagulls. I mean, there was everybody had these looks over the years. In the '90s, you had Gore and various Marilyn Manson. I mean, listen, did I like all these artists? No. Uh, but to just hate on somebody and be nasty because of how they look or because the music doesn't necessarily appeal to you, I mean, it's just hatred for the sake of hatred. It's just blind ignorance. Am I ever going to buy any of her albums? Absolutely not. Am I going to buy any of her downloads? No, I don't care. And again, the music isn't for me, but I don't have to say negative things about her music and her personality or her looks just because you think folks of your age group are going to think you're cool for being nasty. There is never anything cool about being nasty. So don't listen to her music. Don't buy the album. You don't have to like the way she looks, but you don't have to be nasty about it. Listen to some of the things I forgot to mention. Kiss earlier. Listen to some of the people you listened to over the years. Did even just one of them have an outlandish look? And quite frankly, if your answer is no, then I kind of question your musical taste. Did you listen to nobody but John Denver? I mean, Cat Stevens. I mean, damn it, no matter what decade you go to, there's always somebody that had a very particular look that was different than the norm. I mean, there had to be at least one artist you could say, okay, I kind of get it now. And if you don't, I feel like there's something wrong with you. There's something really wrong with you because nothing is there. I think the idea that there is a norm is outdated. There's never really been a norm. Every music has had, or every decade has had the music that had those particular artists that stood out for one reason or another. Even the Beatles, they didn't necessarily have any outlandish makeup or even look, but they did look different than other bands of the time. And I will admit that I've been guilty of this of the past, or guilty of this in the past. But I'm trying to change my ways. Said, okay, look, her music isn't for me. I don't even necessarily care about the look, but but to hate on her to be just nasty, I just don't understand that. It just doesn't make sense. Don't like her, don't listen to her, but you don't have to be a dick about it. She is who she is. At least she has the courage to go out there and do something different, whether you like it or not. So the fact that I don't really care for her music means nothing. I do respect the fact that she has the courage to be who she is, look the way she wants to, and create the music that she feels deeply about. Anyways, anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. Let me focus back for a second. Let me circle back. Let me circle back, Tom. I circle back to the beer. So the snake juice. Like I said, I did have a good time at Homestead Brewing. Um, I had a couple beers there. She gave me several samples. I just wanted to buy a glass, man. I wanted to buy what I could usually kind of sweet talk them into selling me a glass, even when they're not supposed to. But I couldn't make her budge, man. I was there offering just I'll leave a $10 bill on the table and a glass goes missing. No, she was having none of it. But they had like four different styles of logo glasses. Usually, when they have that, you go into most breweries and you ask if that's for sale, they'll tell you everything's for sale. We're not passing up cash, man. But no, I never come across no blanket. No, we're not selling the damn glassware. Because logo glasses, man, logo glasses travel. I mean, if I had a logo glass, I would have this beer in that logo glass. And so you would see the logo and I would, anyways, I think I feel like they missed the point of the logo glass, right? You need to sell the logo glassware. That's kind of the point of logo glassware is you sell them to other people, take them to different parts of the country and show them to other people. And they say, "Oh, where did you get that?" And then, but if you have logo glassware, you're not willing to sell it. I don't, that just doesn't make sense to me. anyways, anyways, I digress. But I never come across anybody so dead set against selling logo glassware. Obviously, obviously she's been told not, so it's not her fault. Obviously, but I just don't understand the management of not selling logo glassware. Again, that's the point of the logo glassware is to sell them. I was kind of taken aback because usually if they have just one style, but they had like four different styles of logo. Well, how much are those? Oh, we don't sell. Well, how about that? No, we don't sell any of the glasses. Really? I was kind of taken aback. And how do you not sell any? Okay, how about if we do this? No, but she wasn't having any of it. How about if just one glass goes missing? Is anybody gonna? Are they counting glassware per day? I mean, I want to steal a glass, and I didn't, or I'd be showing it to you right now. But, but yeah, I was like, what if I just leave some money on the bar and a glass walks out the door? Anyway, long story short, I don't have any Homestead glassware. I did buy this one though from Endeavor. Yeah, I mean they had these little taster glasses. I figured this would be nice for it's great for beer tastings, but the style I feel like it also works for whiskey. It is very similar to a Glencairn, gives you those nice notes. It opens up a lot like a tulip, so it works a lot in the same way. So it's one reason I bought this small glass from Endeavor because I bought the whiskey and they were willing to sell me the logo glass so I could be here with you with the Endeavor whiskey and showing you the logo. I'm not sure why the folks at Homestead don't understand that, but they weren't getting it, man. They just weren't getting it. But they had another brewery in Canal where we were at the BrewDog Hotel. They had loose rail, and they did sell glassware there, so I did buy a glass there. But I just couldn't make it make sense. Why won't you sell me a glass, man? You got a lot of glasses. You got a lot of logos. You got like four different styles with logos on them. I just want one glass. I just want one glass, man. I had a little bug drop in my glass. If you're wondering what I'm doing just now, so I filtered it out. There we go. A little screen there. Anyway, what are you doing, Tom? Yeah, sometimes stuff happens. Anyways, I digress. I'm gonna finish up this endeavor with you. The endeavor. So I'm going to show you another malt whiskey here in a second. It's kind of why I did want to do this contrast, but I wanted to finish up this one first and kind of give you the idea of the range that American single malt whiskeys have that others don't, because Scotch. To be a Scotch single malt, it has to follow certain rules. To be an Irish single malt, even Japanese single malt, that they go a very specific direction. But American single malt whiskeys can go a lot of different ways, which is why I wanted to show you this one, which really is very similar to a Scotch because of the malt used. And I've got the shirt, as you can see, for Four Finger out of Indianapolis, Indiana, and I have their version of a single malt whiskey. Now, what's different about this one? This one's at 90 proof as well. This single malt whiskey is crafted using a complex variety of malted barley, which brings out notes of chocolate and sweet oak from them. Here's the difference here. From new charred oak barrels, whereas this one is aged much like a Scotch in second use bourbon barrels. The Four Finger here is using new charred oak, so you've got a similar mash bill. Well, they're not using the space malt, but you follow me. It's 100% malted barley, but because they're using all of that oak, you've got a vastly different whiskey. As you can see, it's a lot darker because, again, you've got that new charred oak, just changing the game completely. And that is why I love the American single malt category, because the rule is, well, you have to use 100% malted barley, but the barrel is what makes the difference. There are some that will make whiskeys that resemble an Irish single malt or a Scotch single malt. But then you've got distilleries like this using that new charred oak that are taking what they do in a whole different direction. So because you've got that new charred oak, you're going to get these big notes. For me, I get a lot of dark chocolate. You get a much bigger, bolder whiskey. Oh gosh, you might find some toffee notes in there. A lot of big oak, a lot of spice. But again, you just have a bigger, bolder whiskey, which is very American. That's very American, Tom. Scott Schatz, how are you, man? I didn't realize you were on there. Scott, I always encourage folks, if they have any comments, to put them up there. You want any questions or comments? Just chuck them up there. I'll answer almost anything. So So anyway, I'm going to show you this bottle. I did have a good time at this distillery, to be honest with you. Again, I'm going to read this from their bottle. The single malt whiskey is crafted using a complex variety of malted barley, which brings out notes of chocolate and sweet oak from new charred barrels. So I did mention chocolate, but I put a finer point on it, and I said dark chocolate. A lot of big oak, but a lot of spice in the finish as well. They didn't mention the vanilla or toffee, but that kind of goes without saying, I suppose. But it's an incredibly done whiskey. I mean, it is just nice. I had a great time at that distillery. The kid they had behind the bar was very knowledgeable of their product, which is always nice, right? If you're selling something, you gotta know what it is, man. But this is one of my favorite single malts of all the whiskeys that I purchased on our vacation back in September. I loved this one at the time when I had it on the flight. I've really enjoyed this bottle because I love the boldness. And something about that seems just very American, right? And that's what American single malts are doing different than everybody else is. They're taking chances. They're being bold. Everybody else is bound by, well, it has to be this, that, or the other. While American single malts are going, hell, well, we can go this direction, that direction. It just has to be 100% malted barley. But other than that, we can make this whiskey be whatever it wants to be, and that's what I love about this particular category. So, anyway, anyways, I digress. But I digress, man. Uh, I've had other single malts that did use new charred oak that are a lot sweeter than this one, which is maybe why I really like this one a lot because it doesn't have that big sweetness to it. It is big, it's bold. You feel those big chocolate, as they mentioned, but for me, again, I'm going to put a finer point on it, say very dark chocolate, like an 80% dark. You get some vanilla in a lot of them, a lot of whiskeys. You will pick out vanilla, brown sugar, caramel, molasses, whatever. You don't really feel that in a big way here. It just doesn't have this big note of sweetness. And that might be one reason I really like this whiskey because it's not as sweet as most. It's just incredibly well put together. It is just amazing. I would love to see a cask version of this because I bet that is spectacular. But this at 90 proof, I mean, it is just, I mean, wow. It's just so approachable, so easy to drink. It's just amazing. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this. I'm gonna wrap it up, man. I'm gonna wrap it up as I finished off my Endeavor single malt whiskey out of Columbus, Ohio. These guys are really amazing. If you get a chance, please visit them. I did have a beer there. It was their Baltic Porter that was one of the very best American versions of a Baltic Porter I've ever had. It was absolutely gorgeous. I did also have the Homestead Snake Juice Juicy IPA. It is very nice. I do recommend that brewery as well. And I'm going to show you this bottle one more time. Get the label in the right direction for you. Four Finger Distillery out of Indianapolis, Indiana. I cannot recommend them more highly. If you get a chance, please visit them. I am Tom, the beer whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and I am also Tom, the whiskey whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and